All right, we're good to go.
You're going to get a talking to, Eric. So are we really live?
Yep. I think we're live.
Are they dead yet?
Oh, stop. We're going to give this just a couple of minutes for people to jump in here and me to get set up with what I've got to film with Sean next. But you have tuned into Midday Modeler in case you're confused. This is not Wimbledon or any other sporting event. Tour de France. It's not the Tour de France. What stage are we in?
Oh, we finished.
Oh, they're done. Yeah, see, okay, so Tour de France is done. All right. So we'll be with you in just a second.
Very quiet.
Yeah, I notice how we went live and everybody left. I'm like, okay, David, you got this, right? Let's see, yeah. I had a room full of people about 45 seconds ago, and now I got nothing. Well, I mean, that's not true. I got Jenny, I got Vince. We'll do it again. I got Sean. It's been a couple weeks, though. It's been a couple weeks since I called you Vince. So, Vince used to have the bell. KJ, you have the bell?
I'll go get the bell.
Go get the bell. I love the bell. Makes it fun. Hey, you've tuned into Midday Modeler. Welcome. This is your chance to hang with us for the next hour in the workshop here at Model Railroader Magazine and also in our filming studio, which we're in right now. Sean and I are continuing work on our East Troy Industrial Park Project Railroad. And Jenny, give them kind of a quick little tour. I'll move these scenic cement bottles. Obviously, there's a whole lot of layout over here that's not done yet, and that's going to take years for us to get to that, much like the old MRT did. But the section that we are rapidly trying to finish for the January issue of 2026 for Model Railroader Magazine, so you'll get to see this on the cover. We are coming along nicely. Lots of scenery progress, a bunch of different static grass in. Cody's got the ballast on the upper level done now, which looks really nice. These bridges Bryson had built and I did the weathering work on. We got those installed a week ago. Hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow there will be water in the river too, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. That would be great. But yeah, so our East Troy Industrial Park Project Railroad is coming along nicely. We have a small depot scene that we're building here in this location. As a matter of fact, I've got the timber work laid out for what will eventually be a paved section of station platform because this is the East Troy Industrial Park. East Troy also has a railroad on it, which is the East Troy Railroad Museum's layout. It's not a layout, it's a real railroad. But it's part of the former Milwaukee Electric System. And it left the Milwaukee Electric System in 1939 to become the East Troy Municipal Railroad, which basically the community bought 6 miles of track from East Troy to Mukwonago, where it connected to the Canadian National Main Line, which was what we've modeled over here. But they ran it until about 2003, I believe, is the last time they delivered a car to any of the customers online. However, since the 1970s, the East Troy Trolley Museum took over, well, didn't take over, but was operating on it, and now they have complete control over the whole thing. And you can go ride trains there on the weekends. Matter of fact, we had a film crew out there. Ben, you were out there 2 weekends ago, 3 weekends ago?
Are you talking about the Railroad Museum?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was out there.
Yeah, because what you guys saw what when you were there? It was the Milwaukee days, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the CNW. Oh gosh, I feel so embarrassed that I can't remember it. 1385, yeah. So basically, they brought it in on a flat car.
Okay.
The next following Monday, they put it on its tracks.
Oh, no, you're talking about. I'm talking about the East Troy Trolley Museum.
Oh, I was not on that. Lucas was
No,
on that.
Lucas did that shoot. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, we just put up a piece about the East Troy Railroad Museum, their trolley operation for their Milwaukee days, or it was Celebration of South Shore or something. It was Milwaukee days. So cars that ran to and from Milwaukee, both on the North Shore. And they have South Shore cars too in their setup, which obviously didn't go to Milwaukee, but still, it's part of what they've got. But yeah, Ben, so you were out in North Freedom, right? Yeah, okay. So, and the Chicago Northwestern steam locomotive is back, correct?
Yeah, the steam locomotive is back in the steam shops at this point, and they're just working on getting it ready to run, really. It's all the mechanical stuff was finished in Madison, brought the whole thing up. They still need to pair it with the tender because apparently that's all like a whole bunch of custom parts.
Oh, okay.
So getting it getting it back under steam, getting the tender back connected. Hopefully, they're hoping to have the it running next year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. That has been a long haul project. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I think it was like 15 years or something like that.
Okay.
Something.
Cool. Well, good. I'm glad you got to see it.
Yeah.
KJ, we got anybody?
Yeah, we got 24 people that are
All right, sounds
between,
good.
YouTube and Trades.com video, of course. It's like Chris Bell says hi, David.
Hello, Grace.
And a couple of people are online here, so we'll get questions and load those up when you take the next break. How about that?
All right, sounds good. So, at this point, Sean and I kind of need to get rolling here so that we can get our station platform glued in. But in the meantime, I know Eric is busy working in the shop on his project for the layout, which is the pieces of behind my boxes and things over there. And Cody also has a bunch of really cool stuff to share with us today, too. Some new products that came in, other fun things like that. So, Jenny, why don't you go out to the rest of the workshop and see what's going on, and Sean and I will get rolling here. Away they go.
Hello, people. Hey, Jenny, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah, so I am working on the depot that David was showing you the platform for. So this is from Sioux Parts, now Northwoods Models, Mike Paulsgrove's company, our former DCC corner columnist. This is a 3D printed depot based on the prototype on the Sioux line in Mugwanago, Wisconsin. So I just put the windows in it today. You can see since we last got together, I've painted it in the Sioux line depot colors here. Actually, I found a couple pictures here. There's one right on my desk here. You can see this is one I found in our library collection of a similar board and batten depot, and there's also one in this book, Sioux line in color as well. So on the home stretch here, and my goal this afternoon is to put on some control coats here to kind of help tie everything together. The color scheme here looks really nice. Now, I don't want the depot to look run down, but I don't want it to be like it just got repainted yesterday either. So I'm going to use some thinned Model Air white as well as some of the thin Model Air. This is IJN medium gray, number 71.312. And I'm going to use that gray kind of along the foundation just to add a little bit of dust and some weathering effects there. I also want to make sure that I catch the underside of the roof here. And then hopefully once everything dries tomorrow, I can put the window glazing in. I already have the station signs done for it. They're right here from Mugwanago. I kind of weathered those up a bit to make them look like they are the genuine artifact. And then I have these as well. These are kind of cool. They're from the Sioux Line Historical and Technical Society. I purchased these at Trainfest several years ago. I'm not sure if they're around anymore, these signs. But they're like the old Sioux Line signs that we put on the end of a depot. You can kind of see right here on that prototype photo above the station sign. Like that. So I think what we're going to do on our project here is up with the station sign, and because there's a window up here, we'll probably just drop the station sign below it or put it to one of the sides, because Sioux Line had a lot of different ways of positioning their signs on their depots. This has been a really fun project. It's been neat working with a 3D printed kit. This is the first time I've ever worked with one, and it's been a learning curve, but we'll go ahead and get this finished up, and then we'll write about it, and we'll share that in the pages of MR next year. And I know our editor, Eric White here. Eric, looks like you're busy on your industry, too.
I am, yeah. I'm working on generator housings for the Ardagh glass plant.
Okay.
I don't have any photos here to show you what it is, but let's see. Maybe I can find one. See if I can do that quickly, because nobody wants to wait around for this. But these are little generators. They keep the glass plant running if power goes out. If you run a glass plant, you know that when the power goes out and the glass starts to harden, that kind of ruins your glass plant. So it's very important that that doesn't happen.
One thing I was going to ask, Eric, I see you have kind of an interesting tool or tools here. I've not seen those before.
Yeah, so I've got to make a bunch of little tiny parts. One of them that I need is a little support bracket that will hold up these mufflers on the roof.
Oh, sure.
Here. So I brought in this photo etch bending tool, which I got from actually a truck modeling company. And so it's got all these different things that you can use to bend things to consistent sizes. So that's why I brought that in so that I could make all the parts. I've got to make, 8 of them that look more or less identical. So that'll at least let me keep the width of the parts the same, and hopefully that'll work out. I haven't really tried it other than to make one trial piece and learned that that might not be the best way to do it. So I set that aside, and now I'm working on putting in cross bracing on the brackets that will actually hold these mufflers. And you might notice I've got a bunch of this cheapy super glue here. One of my tips for frugal modelers is buy the 3 or 4 or whatever pack of these little super glues, because they're going to dry out before you get done with them anyway, so you waste less this way than you do this way.
Right. I know in our years working here, Eric, we've had a lot of glue bottles that by the time we get to them, they're just rock hard, or they're just stringy, or
right. Yeah, you open it up for a project and you get your project done, and then you put it away, and then you come back to it again 6-8 months later, and it's once air gets to the glue, it starts to solidify.
right. And even if you recap it, I mean, the clock starts ticking. So.
Yeah. I mean, it just takes a little bit of moisture, and it's moisture that makes this stuff harden. So.
Yeah. And this is a really good tip too, Eric. I'm sorry to interrupt there. I was just going to say, looking for other hobbies for tools like that. I mean, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. I think a lot of us probably have multiple hobbies, and so I like building truck models and model car kits, and there's a lot of photo etch in those as well. And so I've started to collect some parts for projects that haven't really gotten started yet, or sort of stalled. But
Yeah.
just like everybody, I've got multiple projects in multiple stages of development. So
Yeah, and even for model railroaders too. I mean, especially if you work with resin kits or multimedia kits, you're going to encounter etched metal. And I know, I have one of the more traditional sprung tables where you can put the pieces in, and it has different parts that you can fold up.
Yeah.
But I like that one there too. It's a lot more accessible.
Yeah, and well, like I said, I'm kind of a cheap modeler, and those sprung tables are considerably more expensive than this was.
Yeah, but I mean, it has a lot of nice options on it, lots of different shapes too, which is really cool.
And it even has what it calls a glue plate.
Okay.
So I guess you're supposed to stick bits of glue in there. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good idea to me, but I'll keep using my sticky notes instead.
Yeah, that's the thing. Post-it notes. I know our former colleague Andy Sporandio, he would use inverted cups and glasses and stuff like that. Because I don't know if you found, but I've found in the past, sometimes you put it on a flat surface, and then sometimes all of a sudden, oops, the model goes into it, or your hand goes into it.
Yes.
So, but that's half the fun of modeling. So, well, Thanks for the update on your project, Eric. Jenny, why don't we head over to the new product desk over here, and we'll take a look at what's going on. I've had a lot of neat products coming in lately here. And we'll start off with some of the latest from Athearn here. I'll put on my reading glasses so I can get the information correct. So we'll start off here with this. It's a 20-foot ISO tank from Athearn. And these are in HO scale, and they're sold in 2 packs for $47.99. Now, this is a hand-assembled sample that was sent in by Athearn for us to take a look at. And I'll put out the sales sheet here so you can see the different paint schemes they're going to be offered in. And this is a brand new model. And the cool thing is that they sell these as standalone containers that you could put in a well car. And they also offer it with this drop frame trailer, which we'll take a look at in just a minute here. You can see how they have the containers on the trailers as well. So as you can see, this is a kind of a multimedia kit here, mainly injection molded plastic on the sides. And then we'll flip it over, and you can see the etched metal walkways here really nicely detailed. One thing that was really impressive about this was the weight, and I brought out the scale here to just find out how much exactly this weighs. So we'll put it on. So that's 1.6 ounces of weight, which is really nice because if you're modeling intermodal trains, that's the one thing that you often run into, is that you have the cars, but because of the design of those cars, they're often underweight per National Model Railroad Association recommended practice 20.1. So if you put a couple of these containers in a well car, you can easily bump up that weight and help with that. One other cool detail here, you can see the ladder. I didn't point this out earlier. You can see it's got an etched metal ladder on the one end here. And then it has some really nicely molded rooftop details as well. And it's got the plastic framework that kind of encloses the tank here. So like I said, this is sold in a 2-pack for $47.99, and these are due out in October of this year. So check your favorite Athearn dealer to find out more about those, and if you're interested in those, you can certainly pick them up at your local hobby shop or your either brick and mortar or online retailers. One other product that came in as a test shot is this drop frame spread axle chassis. And here you can see mainly injection molded plastic. You can see it also has some etched metal parts on it as well. In this sheet here you can see the 3 different paint schemes. You have Penn Intermodal Leasing, and then you have blue and green, but without the data on it there. So if you wanted to make your own reporting marks for it, you could certainly do that. Now again, this is a pre-production sample, hand assembled, so some of the final details will vary. One thing we learned that the tires will be, they're going to upgrade those on the finished product as well. But again, you can see a lot of the really intricate details here, and I just wanted to point out a couple things here. So in the sales literature here, it says it has 47 separate parts for a highly detailed and accurate model. It has raised and lowered landing gear, so you can see that detail on our sample here. And then it has 2 different cargo lifting bag options, and that's this detail right in here. So it's either in transit, it's locked down, or if it's unlocked and lifted for draining the tank. So what would happen is that bag would lift up, so you can see the container would be on here. And this is in the raised position here, so when they were unloading the trailer, it would help, or the tank I should say, when that airbag is raised up, it's going to help the tank tip up and they can unload it that way. So this is kind of an interesting contemporary model. And again, this one is also scheduled, the trailer, that is for an October 2025 release. So we'll set that aside. One sample we just got in here this week is the Athearn Johnstown America Bethgon Coal Porter, another HO scale model here. Now, this is actually kind of a fun story. This is one of the first ever products that I reviewed when I was on the MR staff. I think I reviewed the original car back in 2002, 2003. I was very, very new to the staff then. They might be saying, well, this is just a retool or repainted model. No, this is actually a newly tooled body here. They've got the literature points out it has the newly retooled bodies here. Car comes with a plastic coal load that's removable. Has the body-mounted McHenry scale knuckle couplers. A lot of other nice details include the formed wire grab irons on the end here. You can see the etched metal crossover platform here that's also a see-through detail. Now this particular car is decorated for the BNSF Railway. Now when you think of the BNSF Railway, you think of either the Circle Cross Herald or the modern, what a lot of people refer to as the Swoosh Herald, the post-2005 Herald. This is an intermediate scheme that was used shortly after the merger, and this is kind of before BNSF had settled on an official corporate scheme, so they used the black and white scheme here that you see depicted on this coal porter here. I remember seeing these come through new when I was a kid living next to the BNSF in northern Minnesota. Now these coal gondolas are offered in 5 packs for $234.99, and in addition to the BNSF scheme here, you can see the cars offered for Burlington Northern, Conrail, CSX, Union Pacific. And this is kind of a fun one here. It's a data-only car. So it has the yellow rotary end on it. And this is if you had wanted to model your own power plant or your own railroad, you could just add your reporting marks, road number, logo, or whatever other information you wanted to have your own cars for your model railroad. So that's a neat option there. That's sold in a single 5-pack. And one other thing I'll show you here is the packaging for those coal gondolas. You can see the some of the newer Athearn packaging here with the blue and yellow box. Nice display windows here for all 5 cars. You can see the back of the packaging has a little information too. And the nice thing is, one thing I really appreciate as a model railroad consumer as well, that you have the image on the end of the box here. So if you're looking at it on a hobby shop shelf, you can clearly see what paint scheme it is, and then it has all the road numbers displayed as well. So that's a really nice feature if you're out shopping in the stores. Now, in addition to the products from Athearn, we've had some product come through from Atlas Model Railroad Company as well. First up, we have the N-Scale GP60 here. Now, this model has actually traces its roots back to the Lifelike product range. I believe that model was released in the early 2000s. I want to say 2004, 2005, sticks in the back of my head. And then that tooling went to Walthers, and they did a run of the locomotive as well in around 2012, 2014, somewhere in there. And then Atlas acquired the N-Scale locomotive and freight car tooling from Walthers in 2018, and then they announced the GP60 in 2020. Now we have two different versions. There's a DC version with a 21-pin plug and a factory-installed decoder, or a 21-pin plug for DCC decoder, and this version here that we received has an ESU Lokesound version 5-sound decoder. Now they have plenty of different paint schemes here as well. Southern Pacific, of course, as well as Denver and Rio Grande Western, Union Pacific, Norfolk Southern, Texas Mexican Railway, Vermont Railway, Green Mountain Railroad, and Burlington Northern Santa Fe. Now these are all Spartan cab models, as you can see here. A lot of cool features here, like the Southern Pacific model has the prime air conditioner on the top of the cab. It also has a freestanding 3-chime air horn. The radiator and dynamic brake fans, those are all separate plastic parts that are put in at the factory. Locomotive also has plastic handrails and stanchions, and the vertical handrails are painted white on our SP sample. And I also like that the step faces are painted white to match prototype practice as well. Another nice feature on the SP model is that it has the ditch lights here, and they do work. Other details you can see include the Accumate body-mounted knuckle couplers, and they have factory-installed trip pins, and you can see details like the MU hoses and the train line hose. Those are molded into the pilot. And then, you're probably wondering the price. I will get that here for you. So we have the DC versions are $144.95, and the ESU sound versions are $254.95. Subtract $10 each for undecorated models. We'll wrap things up over at the Winston-Salem southbound, and we will check out a new run of the Atlas Trainman EMD GP38-2 diesels. We just actually shot a video with this locomotive yesterday, so you have that to look forward to over on trains.com. This is a really fun model, and it has a sound decoder, but instead of having an ESU Lokesound V5, it has what is called an ESU Essential Sound Decoder. So, it has the usual sound effects you'd expect. So I'll start it up with function 8. And then function 0 will turn on the headlights as well as illuminate the number boxes. And then 1 is the bell. And 2 is the air horn. And that's our watching horn, so I have to press function 2 again to turn it off. Then you have function 3 is the coupler crash. Then function 4 is dynamic brake when the locomotive is in motion. And then function 7 is the compressor. So since we have our Winston-Salem southbound set up, we'll go ahead and do just a quick bit of switching here. So I'll go ahead and start the engine forward. Has really nice slow speed operation. One other thing you're probably noticing too is that it comes with a pair of factory installed and painted crew figures. And you can also see here's a very contemporary model with the yellow FRA 224 striping on the sill. Alright, I'll get the switch lined up here and go pick up that other Southern Pacific boxcar. You can see the directional LED headlights are running in reverse, so the rear headlight and number boxes are illuminated now. see if the cars coupled in there. Maybe have to have Jenny push the cars together here.
Got it.
So Atlas offers this model in new paint schemes and road numbers. Helm Leasing is among the new paint schemes that are being offered, as well as Amtrak. I've got to go back to my cheat sheet here. We got BNSF Railway, Canadian National, Delaware and Hudson Farm Rail, as well as the Reading and Northern 40th Anniversary paint scheme. In addition, there are new road numbers on models that are decorated for Conrail and Southern Pacific. Price points here, we have the Silver Series or direct current model with a factory installed speaker for $179.95 and versions with the ESU Essential Sound Decoder for $274.95. So that's it from the new product desk and the workshop. So why don't we head back in to see what David and the rest of the team are up to on the project layout.
Need to do a quick little camera pit stop here. Oh, no problem. There. Now you should be able to hear what's going on behind the camera a little more clearly. The front microphone was on, the back microphone was not.
Oh, okay.
Mid-roll.
Kent's coming out.
I'm coming out with questions because they're in the middle of a shoot. And I think Eric had a couple questions from previous.
Did I?
Well, there were a couple questions for Eric. Let's see if I can drill those in here. So this is posted this week. This was your building with the brass tubing. And the question was...
A lot of comments.
Yeah. Soldering. Could you do the same sort of thing with styrene tubing and sheets?
I thought about it. And the main reason I used brass was because I get a much thinner profile here. So if you look at that, you can see the thinnest styrene you can get is 0.005, which is considerably thicker than this. I don't know what gauge brass it is because I just grabbed some shim brass.
Might have said in here at some point, but I don't know what brand. I don't off the top of my head. I don't know what gauge that is either. A lot of people were saying that they just had subpar soldering skills and they were looking for alternative materials. So.
Well, soldering is one of those things. It does take some practice to learn.
Sure.
The main thing is to make sure your tip is clean.
Okay.
So you want to keep a wet sponge, or not soaking wet, but pretty wet sponge. Keep rubbing the tip on it, clean off, so you've got a nice shiny tinned edge. And this kind of thin metal doesn't need much solder, so I literally got a little bit of solder on the tip, and then rubbed the tip along the edge. And again, I think I mentioned in the video, I was using a big chisel-shaped tip because the tubing is pretty heavy, so you need to heat it up quickly. So you need a bigger contact patch to get more heat on.
Gotcha.
If you're just connecting a wire to a track,
That's what they
and like the little pencil tip, or if you're doing a DCC installation,
Sure.
you want the smallest tip you can get,
Right.
and use
Most
small
boards.
diameter solder. That makes it easier too.
All right. Well, I'll take a quick peek here and see if there are other questions that came up related to your Sidetrack series. That's now in part 3. We've got part 4 coming pretty soon too. I think it might be in review. Let's go back here. And
I guess I should leave some of this undone so we can have Sean come in and.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we need to finish that up today too.
Was that today?
No, today is Wednesday. No, today's
Today's
Thursday.
Thursday.
I'll check.
But I know I've got
You may be on. You may
I've got
be
a
on
meeting
the-
coming up at 2.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you're right. Yeah, we can't do modeling all day. We have to actually have some meetings. You know.
Yeah. And nobody wants to watch Midday Editor, though. That's kind of boring.
Well, that looks like it's it for the sidetrack series for questions. But I do have one more question for Cody, so I'll follow him back into the photo studio if he's not too busy to stop for that one. So
Yeah.
come along, Jenny. We'll we'll keep this rolling.
Yes, sir. You have a question?
Yes, you heard.
Yes.
Ears were ringing.
They were.
Let's
They
set the
do all the
scene.
time, so it's just fine.
So on your last episode of East Troy, there was a question about Flux, the track or the rails. They asked would you use both denatured alcohol and then IPA, isopropyl alcohol, to reduce the amount of effort and remove residue, or is the extra effort of the IPA so minimal that it's not worth going over it twice?
The paint stuck well when I used the isopropyl alcohol. So, I mean, I have used both.
Yeah.
Both work well. But it's what we had, and it seemed to do the trick. I mean, it was a little bit of extra effort using the isopropyl alcohol, certainly.
Sure.
Denatured alcohol with a toothbrush, you can get it in. I mean, you know that too. You can get that residue up fairly quick. But the isopropyl alcohol worked just fine, and frankly, it's cheaper and
It's
easier to
handy.
get too.
Exactly, more
So-
economical. Another question popped up about how much paint did you use to? Was it just one bottle of paint that we used to cover the entire section, or?
No, if I remember right, I think it was about 3 of the Vallejo model years.
Yeah, I guess it
for
was
that
smaller
section.
compared to the old Model Master test
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah, I know it was. We stretched it for all it was worth.
So. Good. All right, those are the latest questions. We're now on episode 16, if you believe it, for the East Troy series, and those are coming up fairly regularly, almost one every week. I think we kept that pattern for the last several months here. So, in addition to the main series that you're working on now, Eric's also doing the sidetrack series. So be sure to stay tuned to those, and don't forget, with the workshop webcam, you can watch these guys working during the rest of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we pop in there from time to time if we're between editing projects or stuff we're writing for TBC. Come down and get a little bit of the track ballasted. I did that the other day. I came down, I ballasted the Canadian National portion.
Yep.
And, it's one of those things where you can go in for 15, 20 minutes, knock out a little bit of it. And that's how layouts get done. And that's kind of the beauty of it, too. People think that, well, if I don't have 3 hours, I can't get anything done in my layout. Even 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
You got a little downtime between getting home from work and supper being ready or whatever. You can go down and
Just don't stick the pizza in the oven and forget it when you go down to model.
set it, but don't forget it, right? Yeah, you don't want to forget the pizza. 'Cause I've done that a few times. And,
You guys are coming up with the deadline here pretty soon, right, Eric? Got to get the cover done, right?
Get what done?
The cover for the
Cover, yeah, we gotta get a cover photo. So that's what we're working toward on the East Troy project. So that'll be for the January issue. So yes, it's the end of July, and we're thinking about the January issue already. I have to get the December issue plan out to everybody, and I know Cody has started working on his November stories. I've got a November story to write too. Hey, Gordy Robinson, if you're watching this, I still need those photos. Send them in. And if anybody knows Gordy, tell him, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of him. What else? And speaking of the NMRA, I had a great time at the convention. That was 2 weeks ago, Novi, Michigan. I was out there with Lucas Iverson, and we got to lots of model railroads, did lots of model railroad tours. You can see the video on trains.com about that. We did a video about the convention itself. There were some really good clinics going on. Checked out some high-tech stuff. There was a guy doing what he calls dead rail, what Gordy likes to refer to as power on board. So we're learning that's going to be the new phrase for that, power on board, not dead rail. And another guy talking about 3D printing. It was a nice overview of how to get into the hobby and how to get into that part of it. The uses of different types of software to design your own products, how to use slicers, which is the stuff that takes your CAD or STL files and turns them into something the printer can understand, and a little bit about choosing printers. He gave us a list of printers that were popular in February of 2024. He said that was basically outdated once I printed it. So he also gave us a list of places to look for recommendations. So, you know, it's a matter of how much you want to spend and how much on the bleeding edge do you want to be of the technology. But we're at the point now where home 3D printing is a viable part of the hobby. So we have to get one here. We've got one somewhere. I think Tim from FSM has got it hidden, so I have to figure out where he hid it. But I mean, that's something we need to get more into. We want to do more of that. If you're watching and you know how to do it, you want to write a story, send it in, editor@modelrailroader.com. We're always looking for stories about anything and everything. So, you know, tech stuff, whatever. We're looking for stuff.
Sure. And glad you mentioned the NRA convention. That's always a great place to learn new techniques, see new products. I know these guys had a magnificent time at the convention, and then the show following that too. So,
yeah. The train show at the end of it was definitely worth going to. Lots of good modular layouts there, so they were all in one place. You could see them. But we got to see some really beautiful model railroads, like Mike Burgett's C&O is incredible. He's got an actual CTC stand in the back of his garage, which he was able to do because he used to work for CN, and they were trashing this CTC stand in a bridge tender's office. And he told the crew that came to pick it up, he said, "Don't take this to scrap. Take it to this address. Put it on the driveway. I'll deal with it from there." So that's how we managed to get a CTC machine in his garage.
Yeah, in fact, you can see that in the Trains.com insider video from the layout visits that they went on.
Yeah.
It's like 25 minutes long. So
Yeah, it's not all about Mike.
no, but one of the featured layouts is Mike. So
Yeah.
definitely check that out on Trains.com video. I think there was one more question that popped up here about so David. So it's a question about David's Olympia and Sand Creek videos, which Jenny gets to edit.
So she knows all about that.
Yes. how to condense 45 minutes of clips into down to one video. We'll ask David when we get back in there. We may just peek over their shoulders as they're shooting right now and see what kind of progress they're making. But when he gets a break, I'll pitch him a couple more questions too. So keep those questions coming.
Yeah,
Thanks, Eric.
sure.
Oh, you guys are back.
You're a good break point, huh?
Yeah, Sean's at
Something broke.
No, Sean, no, nothing broke. Sean is at the juncture here where he's moving lights around so we can get this next shot.
All right. Well, when you get another break point, I'll pitch a question to you.
Oh no, pitch, because he's getting set up, and actually currently he's trying not to trip over the wiring.
Well, this relates to Marcus Lee wants to see more Olympia and Sand Creek videos, and I know Jenny's got
I'm going
a
as
couple-
fast as I
Yeah,
can.
exactly. Jenny's got a couple queued up. Look for that very soon. I think we got a Jerry Leone video posting tomorrow from his next Spaces to Places.
Yeah.
Monday, I think there's a middle or later next week. There's a Cody's Office coming out too. So we had, as I mentioned, we had guys going all over the place last week. I think somebody was gone every day of the week last week in the video services department shooting something different. So lots of video for you guys. We'll have lots more coming too before the summer's over. So stay tuned.
Jenny, what have you just edited for Olympia? I forget where we are in that.
I'm working on episode 27 or
Are we
28.
doing the river yet or no?
No,
No.
you just put all the trees and figures in.
Oh, got it. Okay, yeah. So we have, matter of fact, I keep hoping to get the last of the river series shot. Ironically, I've just finished filming and pouring the river on Olympia, and I'm just doing the final details of it. And guess what we're doing here today? Well, we're getting ready to pour the river for our East Troy Project Railroad as well. However, these videos will be out. Actually, the way it's probably going to work out is these videos will be out at the same time as the Olympia ones. You're going to get to see it all twice, once with kind of a murky, you can't see through the bottom water, and one with the water that you can see through the bottom, even including little fish that came from mini prints. So, yeah. You think think you're having fun yet? Start painting some scale fish, man.
Scales on the fish.
even O scale fish are small. So,
Scales.
any other questions for me at all?
Not related to anything you're doing here. So keep it rolling, dude.
Hey, is Mike Hari on?
He is not today.
Oh, no, Mike. All right.
It might be too hot in Arizona.
It might be too hot. So, Mike Hari, who is frequently checking out our live streams and our regular videos and watching on the webcam here at the office, actually got to stop by and visit us 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, which was fun. So, Mike, I'm sorry you're not watching today, but thank you very much for the, it's Arizona Northern, right?
Yeah.
Midland, Arizona Midland.
You're right.
Yeah, Arizona Midland. Thank you for the Arizona Midland stickers that are all over my office now. So,
I'll tell you who is on today.
who?
Artie.
Oh, hello, Artie. Long time no see, man. Hope you're doing well. So, Sean's like, can we get going with this? I'd like to. I got editing to do. So,
Quiet on the set.
quiet on the set. All right, you're gonna get to watch this film for a second. Though before we do, Sean, I don't know what it's like where you are today, but the smoke here from the Canadian fires is really horrific, and my nose is just driving me nuts, even with Claritin. So, give me a moment to
Scan the room.
powder source. Yeah. All right.
We'll have to take a picture of the smoke outside.
Yeah, we should. I couldn't believe it when we walked outside. It really is incredible. For all of you living in Canada who have to deal with this on a daily basis, I really feel for you because man, oh man, it is just terrible out there today. So, all right, Sean, here we go.
Rolling?
The olive paint on the bottom of our riverbed has dried nicely, and so now we're on to the next step. More drying will be involved here, rest assured. We have to put dams on the end of the river so that when we pour the resin, it doesn't just all wind up and down on the floor, because that wouldn't necessarily be what we want. I'm using just some 30,000 styrene that we had laying around as scrap, and I've made little plastic dams that we're going to go on the end. I like using styrene for this because it sticks well when you apply it with clear latex caulk, which is what we're going to do to attach it to the layout. But then also, once the resin has hardened, these are actually very easy to peel off as well. Wood dams wouldn't be because the resin will bite right into it and you might be stuck with those forever. So styrene is my way to go here. We are using some DAP Clear Alex Plus latex caulk for this. You want to make sure you use clear and not the white stuff this time. Just to keep it from showing through. This will blend nicely with the resin once it's all down. And when we take the dams off and trim everything up at the edge, you'll never know that this is even there. Plus the fascia is going to hide most of it anyway. So this is pretty simple. I've got a nice contour here that we need to follow. So we want to make sure that the resin doesn't have anywhere to escape. Do you want to cut away real quick to just show? All right. Poor Sean, he's the one that not only shoots these, but he edits most of them too. And I'm always giving him lots of suggestions, which I'm sure he loves.
Rolling?
As you can see, our olive paint has dried nicely, and so we're ready to move on to the next step. There you go. There's your B-roll close-up. All right. You might as well stay there then, because what we're going to do... Yeah, side is good, because I'm working from the right today. So.
Rolling?
Notice that we are working without the fascia on the layout. Oops. We've done all that work on that scenery. Let's not mess it up. Now this is where you need to be liberal with the caulk. The reason being is that we've got all sorts of abnormal spacing here. And I want to make sure that we leave no gaps. This is also brand new tube of caulk, so it's taking a bit to work out the kinks in the spout here. The air bubbles at least. And just come up something like that. The resin isn't going to go any higher, but in fact, if we have that much resin, we got a lot of other problems on our hands. So. KJ, since you're standing
Yes,
there,
sir.
would you grab me that 2-inch roll of masking tape that is over by the railgun gun?
2-inch roll?
Yeah, that's 2-inch, right?
Is that which one?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize the both were. I have my short range glasses on, so So all I could see is the blue, and I assumed it was masking tape, because that would be the only thing over there that would look like that. So,
So haven't found your putty knife yet.
oh, you still haven't found the putty knife?
No.
Oh, all right. Well,
The red one, but that was yours. That was.
all right. Now note, I didn't cut this for any particular reason. As I said, this is a scrap piece of styrene. I'm just going to set this right in there. It just so happens that it sort of follows the contour. All right, I'm going to press it first. Yes, we've got ooze going on there. Clear off anything that we didn't use. The tops, and clean that off my hands. I hate this stuff on my fingers. Ugh. But I didn't put my gloves on before we do this, so too bad. All right, now Sean, we need to get a shot so you can see down in here where it all oozed out. Can you get under the bridge? I can.
How's that look for Brandon?
Good, perfect.
Okay. Cool.
Now see this? This is exactly what you want this to look like. We have nice ooze all along our seam line here. I'm just going to take my finger and smooth that out. Because you don't want the big bead in there. That would show up with the water and could interrupt the effect you have at the edge of the river. But something just like you see here, where it follows right along the contour, is good. A little bit more in there. Okay. That side is almost ready.
Okay.
Then come back to one final shot on the far side here. Let's put that there. Well, what did we learn talking to Cody and Eric? Anything fun?
You were out there. You saw more than I did.
Some new products.
Okay.
And watched a locomotive run on the layout.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that was a new helm leasing scheme, I think, right?
Oh, that's neat.
But
Yeah.
reminds me of the one he was working on for my large scale.
Oh,
railroad.
the locomotive that
Yes, it's in parts and pieces now.
is in parts and pieces. Well, you can model it scrapped. Sean, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Rolling.
Using some blue 2-inch painter's tape, just come in and put a final little bit over the top. It's not that I'm worried that the styrene is going to come loose. This is just an extra final bit of precaution in case there is any way that there is a gap between the seam on the inside of the styrene and the riverbed, so that if there is, the resin will only get so far before it stops. All right, I've got that one done. Let me get the other one finished, and then I think we're going to see how Cody's Depot looks with our station platform.
Okay.
Sean, I feel like we're getting to the point where we have a fairly hefty amount of stuff for this episode. Do you agree?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to get some B-roll tomorrow of Cody shooting or spraying, airbrushing the weathering on the depot that you could put with his explanation of that, or not?
I think we did. Oh, so we did some weathering stuff with him, but that was for the roof only.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could grab that tomorrow.
Okay. It'd be nice when he's talking about it in the video. It would be nice to just have a cut-to shot of him actually doing the work,
Right.
even though it's not the same day. So. All right.
It's not on this side.
Well, actually, you don't even need to film this. But, well, you could film from that side coming this way. By the time you get everything set up for that, I should be ready for that shot anyway.
Okay.
David, does anybody have the Virginian layout anywhere?
Yeah, it's down in Chattanooga in the main office.
Okay.
Yeah, they set it up down there.
Okay. Paul
Matter
Marshall was asking.
In fact, Ben had said that when he was down there, and Eric too, they both saw it. And I believe Stuart Churls,
Yeah.
who is he works for Firecrown, works for FreightWaves, one of our other magazines, covering rail industry news and other shipping news. And he's also a regular operator on Tony Custer's layout. He was down there when they were all down there last month, or earlier this month actually, for the hackathon. That he was showing people how to switch cars on it, and
Oh,
stuff, so
excellent.
which was fun. Yeah, it's nice. Nice to have other modelers in the company.
It's always good to have wheels turning on layouts that you've built.
Yeah, it is nice. I like that layout. That's one of my favorites.
John, check your lighting. I don't know where you've got a huge channel on this left hand side. I don't know if you're shooting tight or what. But
I'm just shooting.
He's gonna shoot what I'd like is a shot of the ooze coming up
okay, got it.
between the styrene and the riverbed.
I didn't see your shot. Sorry, guys.
Too many directors in this room. Ready? Here we go. So again, just like the other side, I've got the caulk in, press the styrene into it. This actually has a lot rougher edge to it than that first one we did, especially where the scenery comes in right along the side here. So I want to make sure that we get good caulk coverage in this spot. Also, I do not have anything to tape this to like I did on the last one, so to be a little more careful in this location. All right, that looks pretty good. Again, bringing my finger in, just smooth all this out. And the plywood splintered pretty badly in this spot, and even though we did fill with some spackle compound in there, it isn't the greatest, so this will help smooth it all out. Besides, the backdrop goes here. It'll look fine when it's done. Okay, I got a little spot in here I can't get to, so I'm going to have to find a tool of some sort. This popsicle stick is just volunteered. Well, actually, you know what? This is too big. Cody and KJ, I hate to do this to you.
Pointer or
Oh, you know what? Speaking of pointers, I bet it's in here. No, he's got those skinny little popsicle sticks. Yeah, yeah, like that. That's perfect. Oh, you know what? No. Sitting on the counter where the sink is,
okay.
is one like this, but it's got a rounded end. I need the rounded end because I got to make a nice neat connection there. The only other thing we could do today, Sean, is we can get the windows in the building. We have to just reset for it. But the problem is I'm running out of time. I've got meetings most of the afternoon though, so.
5 more minutes. Get your questions in now.
Yeah, please ask questions. This is a lot more fun. Even if it's something that you already know the answer to, ask it anyway. A lot more fun with interaction. All right. Still rolling? Yep. Okay, this little spot here, just have this skinny little coffee stirrer. It's got a rounded end on it, which works kind of like my finger. As a matter of fact, now that I've seen how that worked, sorry I used my fingers for this in the first place. So. All right, that is in. I'm gonna have to go wash my hands. I've got stuff all over me. Yeah, I don't really have anything to tape this to other than this one little block back here. Watch, this will be the one that leaks. After years of doing this without any problem whatsoever. Befitting. All right, so what are we going to do? We got 5 minutes, right? And then I got meetings to go to after
That's
that,
correct.
so, okay. I'm sorry, I forget we're still airing. Hey, if you just tuned in late, this is Midday Modeler, at least the last 5 minutes of Midday Modeler. So we are looking for questions at this time. If you have any, please submit them on whatever venue you are working from at the moment to watch us, and KJ will send them to me while we're working here. I've got Sean with me today. We have been filming another episode of the East Troy Industrial Park. Jenny is behind the camera today. She is my regular editor for the Olympia series. They are more than happy to answer questions about any of that stuff too, I'm sure, while we're working. So, Sean, you think we got enough for an episode?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Okay. Yeah, if you get that B-roll shot, you get that B-roll with Cody tomorrow, that's fine. The problem is I'm not going to have the resin in the morning because we have to go to Hiawatha and pick it up. So we won't be able to do resin tomorrow. Well, we can do the farmhouse windows tomorrow, and then get the farmhouse, the barn, and the chicken coop installed. And I got to dig up some horses. I decided instead of putting cows in this little pasture here, this is more like a place you'd have horses. So we'll put the chicken coop in, we'll put horses in here, and we'll fence all that off. I got to find a water trough of some sort too. We'll put the cows out there on the other side. That'll be good on the slope. So, all right.
David, we have one question from Joe Russ. Hi,
Oh, hello, Joe.
He's asking how soon are we going to have operating sessions on the emergency?
Actually, Joe, it's funny you should say that. Bryson and I had been working towards that, even though, at that time we didn't even have any scenery on it yet. Despite the fact that it's going to take us several years to get all the other stuff done on here, you have to understand that we did the easy part first for the magazine. So all the stuff that I'm working on here, this is all basic, easy scenery, simple buildings and things like that. Eric's glass plant is just one of several complex industries that are all going to wrap around on the East Troy side. So it's going to take us some time to get those done. However, the tracks are all there, and we know what cars would need to be dropped off there, so it's just a matter of coming up with the paperwork and making it happen. So, Joe, once we get this up to the point where we get it plugged back together and can run some trains, we'll talk about having an operating session here. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I'd like it. So, thanks.
Got a couple more questions if you want to take.
Yeah, go for it, please.
All relates to the water, pouring the water.
Yeah.
And the first question came up about leveling. How are we going to make sure that the layout is level before you make the pour so it doesn't run?
Good question. Especially since on this particular layout, we're using a very thin layer of resin in order to simulate the water, so we don't get a lot of margin for error. The layout itself is has leveling feet on the bottom that we just have to lift it up, turn them a little, and set it back down. Currently, it's also sitting on furniture glides so that we could scoot it around on the floor some. But what we'll do is we'll just take one of our straight levels and lay it right across the middle of the river. We'll check for level that way, and then once we know we're level, we'll go ahead and pour.
And another question, a different question from RoboDan, but related to water. He sees that there's a backdrop on the back of that, and he wants to make sure, or asked how do you make sure that there's a seal between the backdrop and the layout so it doesn't drip through, right?
Oh, yeah. So in this particular case, we made the backdrop removable because of the fact that we're doing exactly what you see here. I'm standing behind the layout so Sean can shoot from the front. It makes showing us building and doing stuff easier. So obviously, this is where the backdrop will be. And so that's why I can put the dams on at this juncture here. Now, let's suppose, though, you have a layout where you don't have that luxury, where the backdrop is a permanent piece of it. And so in that particular case, then you simply get everything set for pouring the resin, and then you run your bead of caulk between the backdrop and the river basin so that it won't leak through there. So, matter of fact, I did that on Olympia because Olympia's backdrop is an integral part of the layout. It does not come out. And so I just needed to make sure that I had sealed very carefully where the river runs into the backdrop in order to keep it from leaking. And it didn't leak at all. It was in good shape. So
we have exactly 1 minute left, and I'll let you sign off when you're done with this question. But
Sure.
He wants to know, what error are we modeling on the this iteration of the MRNT?
Oh, okay. So it's interesting. The MRNT usually, ever since I've known it, has modeled present day, which means that locomotives and things eventually get upgraded. Now, obviously, we've got a lot of dash 9s, dash 8s, I don't know what they are, dash 8s running around on here, and GP38-2s and things like that. We don't have any of the more modern power for the MRNT at the moment, but we tend to stay in a loose 90s to present day pattern anyway with the MRNT right now. So modern day. However, because of the fact that this is being built on top of something that has gone on since at least 1939, if not earlier, you could model this in a bunch of different eras and still come off reasonably well, just by changing out certain industries and things like that. Everything that's going to be on here is a modern industry. So the plastics plant is a modern industry based on a real one out in New Jersey. The lumber distribution center based on Home Depot in New Jersey. Actually, ours is going to be Menards, which Wisconsin has a Menards distribution center that is rail served, not too far from where we are. We'll probably take a run up there and shoot some photos of it, so we've got something to work with on that. Transload facility, that's all going to be modern too, but there's nothing that would prevent you from taking what we've done for a track plan here and replacing those modern industries with industries from the 70s or industries from the 50s or industries from the 1920s and still have a very prototypical railroad by the time you're done. Anything else, KJ?
That'll do it for today.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us for Midday Modeler. We will be back again at some point towards the end of August. I'm gone the last week of August, so we'll have to determine a date for that. I'm going on vacation at long last. But for Cody and Eric and Kent and Jenny and Sean, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, and Ben Lake, too, who has been behind the scenes all day. And we'll see you next time on Midday Modeler. And you can always watch the replay of this when it gets posted to trains.com.